Good morning, everybody. Everything new under the sun. I'm just going to ramble on for a couple of minutes about a couple of headlines that I think are important as we're watching Bible prophecy move along as we get closer to the precipice of some major events, not the least of which is, I believe, an economic collapse. And with all the lockdowns that have happened, the economies of the world are ripe to absolutely crash. And effectively there's going to be a big switchover of wealth, and it's going to be removed from what you and I are, the quote unquote middle class, and it's going to move to those who are rich. It's going to be a massive wealth transfer, and just an absolute epic economic collapse. Now, there was a big drop yesterday on the Dow Jones, down about 700 points by this. But this is just the beginning, and the Dow Jones is well above 30,000, and they're saying it's only going to be you can only use the word crash if it gets below 30,000, and 30,000 is incredibly high. So there's quite a high peak here. Let's go to the 1 year. You can see the 1 year where the Dow Jones and the markets generally just continue up and up and up, and that's where they've been going the last number of years. Look at this, up. Had a pullback beginning of 2020, related to the pandemic, probably there. But otherwise, it's been going up. There's been no real pullback. It's just been going up and up and up. If we look at the all, you can see where we are back in 2000, hovering around the 10,000, 11,000 mark. And then it just starts going up and up and up again from 2010, from the 2007, 2008 trouble. It's continued to go up, and there hasn't been a significant pullback. And the market can't go up forever. What that also means is that inflation is occurring. Every single dollar that you have is worth less. And you can tell that because people are willing to put more dollars into stocks. That stock isn't worth anything more, especially not now, as we're in the middle or in the end of a pandemic, and it seems to be taking off again with the variants. Those items aren't any more valuable now. It's just that people have more money to throw around, and so they're throwing more dollars at the same stocks. And look at this. It's like a hockey stick going up almost exponentially. And what happened in 1929? Well, a very similar thing. This is the economiccollapseblog.com. Are we on the verge of a massive stock market crash? And I think it's a great question. And we've been looking for this for a while. I remember we've been looking at these charts here and we're saying, you know what, it's been around 7, 8, 9, 10,000 for a number of years, kind of hovering around there. And then all of a sudden it started taking off. This is not normal. This here does not match the rest of the timeline, the slow upward movement of the stock market. And in the midst, again, of economic trouble, pandemic, all sorts of world issues. So are we on the verge? Boy, it is certainly set up to. Is the time finally running out for the bubble to end all bubbles? Over the past year, we have seen stock prices rise to levels that are completely and utterly absurd, and many pointed out that we are currently in the largest stock market bubble in the entire history of our nation. It's worse even than 1929. And a large part of that is because no one knows how to deal with economic trouble. We're all leveraged and mortgaged up to our eyeballs, and we can't handle any more interest. If their interest rates were to go up, and they want them to go up, many of us would default on our mortgages because they're just so we're mortgaged so highly. This is a big problem. And of course, then playing into this whole thing is the variant. So you can see the variant being spoken of there. And then, of course, we have the Tokyo Olympic Games. Now, interestingly, they're having some big sponsors pull out, and the biggest was Toyota. Toyota just bailed out the Olympics' biggest sponsor, apparently, pulling ads, will not attend the opening ceremony. Why? Well, most of the Japanese don't like the Olympics. They prefer it not to be there, not to be happening right now, right in the middle of a pandemic. And now we hear that there are participants, Olympic athletes, who are now spreading it and have uh, uh, gotten the illness, if you will. And so that's happening. And Toyota doesn't want its name on that. They don't want their name on something that the public doesn't want to happen. And they don't want their name on something where everybody's getting sick from the pandemic. It's interesting as well that this just happens to be the year that there's, I don't know if it's the first, but it's certainly one of the most publicized transgender athletes. A man is going to compete as a woman in weightlifting. And I don't know if you've read the detail on that, but the Olympic Committee has approved this particular person. They will be competing against biological females, and in all likelihood, they will do very well. And it brings up the question, what is fair? Who is standing up for the women? I had to address this recently in my daughter's soccer league, where I had to voice my concern about this. And are they going to do anything about boys playing against girls if they feel like girls for that particular day or whatever? Certainly not. They're not going to do anything about it. And I was told that is the future. And it doesn't matter if girls don't think it's fair. That is the future. And basically, the public sentiment will accept nothing else other than complete equality and equity. And what that means, what I was told the definition of that, what that means is that complete equity and equality in the soccer league effectively means that boys can play with girls, and there's no definition anymore. Even though it's called a girls' league, basically, boys can play with girls, and that is what is considered equal now. It doesn't matter if the boys are stronger than the girls. Equal means boys can play with girls, and there will be no changing the soccer league rules in that. And I voiced my complaint right up to the soccer local soccer club and the federation for where I am, province wide. And yep, they're not changing their stance. And it's as bad, in fact, that they don't want it publicized. They don't want it to get out to the media that this is happening, because they don't want to look like the club or the province or the province has any trouble with anybody who thinks this is wrong. And again, I say, who is standing up for the girls? Who is standing up for the biological females who are physically do not have as much muscle mass or bone density as a male? That's just science. And no one is sticking up for the girls who have to compete against these boys. And this is the way it goes. There is no boys and girls sports anymore. You can say goodbye to that, and no one is standing up for the girls. Where are all the feminists? I would ask. And there are feminists who are trying to stand up against it, and boy, they're getting shot down by the left. All right, there's a lot of things happening. You have all the riots in Africa. You have drought. You have fire in the U.S. All sorts of things. State of emergency at Lake Powell. Fears of hydroelectric and water shutoff mounts. Lake Powell provides water for 30 million people. The lake supplies water to 30 million people and irrigates 5 million acres. And they're so low, they're going to have to start rationing. There is a massive water issue in the United States. And this all really details to me that the last days are getting here very quickly. We're getting little tastes of the last days. Think of the Revelation 6 events: famine, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places, wars, rumors of wars, all these things. These are all happening. More earthquakes, and as the water dries up, there's going to be the water tables are going to start collapsing. You're going to start seeing sinkholes because of the low water, and the ground is going to be unstable. And there's going to be people who don't have water. And what happens when there's a lack of water and then a lack of food because you can't irrigate those fields to grow those plants and food? You're going to have riots. You're going to have violence. What does the Bible say in the last days? there will be violence in the last days because the love of many grows cold, waxes cold. That's because they're getting desperate. There's no water and food. This is just one of the examples. Lake Powell is getting an emergency release of water from upstream reservoirs. Water levels have approached critical level. So this seems to be a recurring event, but this is it's never gotten as low before, as far as I know, than it has now. Now look at this. Macron's in the news again in France. He is basically enforcing a passport for you know what. He is saying that if you do not have the passport, you can't go to public events. And now in the UK, Boris Johnson is going to implement the same thing. If you're not, if you don't have this passport, if you don't have proof of this, you're not going to be able to go to any large events. So soccer games, football, whatever, you're not going to be going to any of that. You're not going to be able to go to bars, all these sorts of things. And they're really locking it down. And as soon as Macron put this in France, I believe 2 million people all of a sudden went online and got scheduled to get their passports, if you know what I mean. And so it's interesting. He's moving ahead with this. Now the UK is following suit. And I think all the countries will start forcing this. Now, I don't believe this is a mark of the beast yet. We still have choice. But they're making it hard. And what's going to happen when the Antichrist comes and the mark of the beast comes? They're going to make it very hard. You won't be able to participate in the economy if you don't get the mark of the beast. If you don't get this mark on your right hand or your forehead, you won't be able to participate in society before. You're going to be ostracized. You're going to be starving, hungry. You're going to be without jobs. You won't be able to get jobs if you don't accept this mark at that point in time. And this is exactly what we see. This is the transition with, of course, this passport that is happening now. And Macron, interesting character. He's in the center of it. He's starting it all in France. And other countries are starting to follow suit towards this required passport. I think this is going to come for everybody. It may not be the current illness that is triggering it, but soon there will be a government leader come along and say, you know what, for the health and wellness of the world's civilians, the people of the world, we all need to come together and get this same passport. And so I think this is very, very interesting. And we can see it happening in Europe, where infections are spiking, and interestingly, amongst those who have already been protected against, the virus is spiking there. So very interesting stuff. So, folks, what do I think is coming? I think this is the buildup. I think this comes in waves. We'll see an easing off of trouble and restrictions, and then another wave of it, and that's what we're seeing with the variant. And so just like birth pains, we're going to see these things come and go, but they're going to get louder and stronger each time until the point at which the world economy collapses and a one world leader comes in and says, we got to rally together. We all got to do this, get this, whatever. And we're going to make sure that everybody is marked so that we know who is good and who is bad, who is participating, who is helping society, and who is not helping society. And those who are not will not be part of society. They will not be part of the economy. They will not be able to attend large events. They will not be able to do this and that. And they're going to make it very hard. And there's already leaders out there saying, you know what, it needs to be hard. We need to make it hard on those who are not following suit, who are not protecting themselves and protecting others. We need to make it hard on them to pressure them into doing this. And this is just a very small example of the amount of pressure that will be on people to get the mark when it comes out. And I think the next big thing is that mark, and it's coming very soon. So as we head into this fall period, we look at the economy. It's ripe for economic collapse. The pandemic has really put the final nails in the coffin of the economy. Economies can't go when they're shut down, when they're locked down, when money can't be transferred. and you're going to have a ton of bankruptcies. The eviction moratoriums are going to start being lifted, and people are going to be out of houses and homes. And what happens then? Violence, riots, people in the streets being upset because they are without food, water, and housing. And this is the trouble that is to come. It only gets worse from here. And I think this is still playing right along and moving right along as many of us understood it to happen, or to that it would occur. So, folks, I will leave there for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Thanks for all your comments. We'll continue to watch this and watch John Haller. Watch some of these other guys. Watch Star Path Academy about the hyperinflation that occurred in Romania. Follow these news outlets and track. Be aware of stuff that is happening and get prepared for it. Hard times are going to come, and I think we're going to experience persecution. I don't think the Lord's going to rapture us out of every single hard thing that happens in this world. We're going to see a lot of it over the next couple of months. The pandemic is going to get worse, whether it's this variant or the next one or whatever the next big thing is. This is all kind of a warm-up, a warning, and Christians who know what's coming should recognize it and get prepared for it, mentally, physically, and especially spiritually. Get prepared for what's coming, because we're going to be living through some of this. We're going to be living through maybe a lot more than you think, and you need to be prepared. And that preparation, again, is in many ways. Do you have some alternative power? Do you have some food storage? Do you have something you can provide to your neighbors when they get hungry? Do you have the reason for the faith that is in you when they come to you saying, why aren't you scared of this? You can say, well, I have Jesus Christ in my heart. I know where I'm going. I'm not afraid of dying. And that's what you need to hold on to. Thanks, folks. I'll leave there, and we'll see you guys in the next video.